Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head down to England once again. We're going to Huddersfield in Yorkshire, England, the stomping ground of course of a certain Stuggy Picard from Ginger Ale Trail and also Rob from Hopscene as well, and we're going to have a look at another beer from one of the best craft breweries in England these days. So we are of course talking about Magic Rock, who are very distinctive because of these lovely big tall boy cans that we do, and today we're having a look at the Telepathy. So this one's another IPA and it comes in at 7.2%. As is the case with most Magic Rock beers, it's got a very high rating on Rate Beer. I think it was a 97 that it had overall, and you know, my past experiences with this brewery are really pretty damn awesome, so I'm expecting something really good from this beer. So I hope you guys enjoy my take on this one. And this one of course is using the Denali hop, which seems to be an increasingly popular hop amongst people like Cloudwater and Verdant and of course Magic Rock as well. It seems to be a hop that's gathering a bit of a reputation behind itself. It seems to be getting up there with Simcoe and Citra and Mosaic and all these things these days. So definitely looking forward to this one, and I hope you guys enjoy my take on this beer. So anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, of course, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, link to my other reviews that I've done from Magic Rock Brewing before. No doubt there will be more in the near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, prefecture, whatever it is you're actually interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the English beers that I've reviewed for you, and that's constantly being added to whenever I can. And as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys, and the support you give the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Magic Rock Brewing then. So Magic Rock, as I've mentioned to you before, are based in Huddersfield in Yorkshire in England, and they were established back in 2011 by brothers Richard and Johnny Burhouse, although Johnny later left the company, and soon after their inception they were joined by head brewer Stuart Ross. So the beer brewing began in mid-2011, and the beers proved so popular that the brewery won the accolade of Best New Brewery of 2012 from Rate Beer. I always mention them, of course, the kind of bible when it comes to peer reviewing craft beer. But the brewery was largely inspired by the burgeoning craft beer market over in the US, of course. The US is kind of the home of craft beer, but they've been expanding their capacity and staff steadily ever since their inception, and this was just due to how popular their beers proved to be. So as of 2015, the brewery are based in the Willow Business Park in Birkby, and they employ over 30 people. When they moved into this site, they had a brewing capacity of 10,000 hectolitres per year and a fermentation capacity of 70,000 litres, and they have expanded this since 2015 when they were there, of course. So they are a fairly decent sized operation. They're one of the most popular craft breweries that you're going to find in England, and you know, as I said to you, they've got a very, very good reputation. If you watch Craig over at Kent Beer Reviews, Jaco of course, Dean from Dean's Beer Reviews, Harry at Blue Nose Beer Reviews, you know, all of the guys in England that review beer rave about this brewery, and in my experience, quite rightly so. These guys are doing some awesome stuff, and like I said, very distinctive because of these lovely big tall boy cans that they do, and they're always producing new things as well, so you can always get a slightly different IPA at different points in the year. They seem to release new beers every 2 or 3 months or something like that, so make sure you try this brewery if you want to try some English craft beers. But yeah, that's all you need to know about these guys. As I said, check out the links to the brewery and things in the description below if you want to learn more, and there's all my other reviews and all the other beer tubers reviews on this brewery as well. There's some great reviews out there of the Magic Rock beers. But yeah, let's get on to the tasting of this beer then. So you can just have a little look at the artwork before we open this one up. The artwork on this, it really reminds me of, it was Flanimals, I think, from a book that Ricky Gervais did. It really reminds me of that, but it also reminds me a little bit of the Minions from the Despicable Me movie. These artworks with the mad faces and stuff really remind me of them, actually. But yeah, the malt base in this one is Golden Promise, wheat malt, golden naked oats, and oat malt as well. The hops, it's T90 and Denali, but they also used some Citra and Simcoe lupulin powders in this beer as well, apparently, and the yeast in this one is WLP001, so should be a really quite interesting one. I'm sure the Cloudwater Centennial that I reviewed a few videos ago was using that same yeast as well, so maybe there's a lot of experimentation going on with these, and brewers are starting to find their feet. These New England style IPAs, I'm guessing this one will be a New England IPA, these are really gaining some traction in down in England these days. Not many Scottish brewers are having a go at these yet, actually, but I'm sure over the next little while it will come. But yeah, as you could see, a nice smoky opening on this one, and we'll get it out and into the glass. We'll leave a little bit in and we can put the rest in a little bit later. So yeah, as you can see, and as you would expect, this beer has poured a really nice dark kind of, it's almost like a kind of peach juice or something. I'd say it's a kind of nice peachy, yellowy orange colour, as you would expect from these New England IPAs. It's got that kind of haze for days, unclear for years, or however you want to describe it. J. Co seems to be the one that's the master of describing these beers, but there's a nice there's a few big bubbles of carbonation sticking towards the side of the glass on this one. The head on this actually seems to be less frothy. It seems to be a bit more bumpy and big, but there was a half finger of a kind of bumpy, white bubbly head on this one. But you can see if I put my fingers behind the glass, this beer is pretty much opaque. It really looks like fruit juice, which is exactly what you expect from this New England style of IPA. But yeah, looks really nice. So let's take a closer look at the aroma and see how we get on then. Yeah, so again, as you would expect with this beer, it's a nice big just juicy fruitiness, and the malt actually has a decent presence in this one. It said on the Magic Rock website that they were trying different types of oats and things in this one just to see how they could smoothen out the malt base. And you can definitely smell the nice kind of creamy, oaty, bready character that you would expect from this. I'm not getting much of the wheaty note in this. It definitely has just that creamy oatiness to it. And I do like that, but you can smell the nice juicy fruits. It's not quite as prominent with the fruit juice as some of the other ones I've come across recently. But you can definitely smell, that Citra and Simcoe lupulin powder in there. There's a good presence of mango, and you can also pick up that slightly darker passion fruit note from this beer. The Denali hop, of course, that's in this, that should give you some pineapple, and there's a wee bit of that. And of course this is a hop I've not encountered too often, but as a beer reviewer you're always learning things, so if you come across a new hop you always go and research it. What do you expect from the nose, what do you expect from the flavour, and then you taste it and you can start to learn these things. I have had one or two beers now that have had the Denali in it, and that pineapple descriptor really was a good one for it, but I'm not picking up too much in the way of pineapple there. For me the lupulin powders, I'm guessing, are kind of dominating the aroma of this. To me it's more mangoes and passion fruit that's coming out of this one, the Citra and Simcoe characteristics. But you can smell a little bit of a kind of floral aromaticity to the beer, and there's a wee bit of grassiness in there. There's a little bit of a lemony citrus as well, which will be from the lemon drop hops, of course, hence the name. But yeah, to me there's just a little bit of that, and it kind of has what you'd expect. You can pick out a little bit of the kind of lighter tropical notes as well, which will be from the Citra. The Citra can give you a little bit of that kind of lighter tropical fruit complexity. But to me it's really the malt base in this one is quite present, but it does have that kind of darker passion fruit presence from the Simcoe and a bit of the mango, just a wee bit of that pineapple note that you would expect from the Denali hops. But overall it smells pretty damn nice. So as I always say, take a little bit of time and mull over the aroma of your beer before you actually try it. That's always half the experience when it comes to whiskey, sake, craft beer and all of these sort of thing. But yeah, without further ado then, let's get stuck into this beer. So this one is the Telepathy, a 7.2% IPA from Magic Rock Brewing down in Huddersfield in Yorkshire in England. Slàinte. Yeah, you know, first thing you'll notice about this beer when you try it, this one is quite different from the aroma. The Denali hop, it usually gives you this nice big pine resinous character, and you can definitely pick that out in the flavour of this one. Really, it just hits you. When you take this beer in, it just hits you. And that's one of the things, when you're first getting into craft beer, I always found it's a little bit difficult to pick up the different flavours, you know, whether it's more of a spicy floral aromatic character or whether it's a kind of pine resinous thing. But the Denali hop has this really distinctive pine resinous character that is a little bit more spicy than the likes of Chinook. Chinook, of course, is the other favourite if you want that kind of pine resin kick. But this one just has a little bit more spice to it. That's another thing you're going to learn about this Denali hop. But this is a nice beer. It's certainly got that nice kind of kick to it. It's a little bit less fruity and juicy than some of the sort of New England style IPAs that I've come across before. But I tell you something, that's what you want when you're trying all of these kind of big, juicy, hazy IPAs, which are the craze just now. You want them to be a little bit different from each other and to have different hops and things like that in them, and have things that make you actually think about what's going on in the flavour of this. But this is a pretty damn good beer. It's a little bit heavier in the IBUs, I think, than some of the other ones I've had recently as well. But that's nice. It takes your mouth just a few sips to adjust to this beer. But let's go through the flavour then logically, as we always do. So what they were saying on the website of this was that they were using a few different oats and things just to smooth out the malt base in this. And you can actually detect that in this beer. I mean, these New England IPAs are always quite simple in the malt base. You can feel a little bit of that white bready character in there. There is a bit of a kind of wheat sort of smoothness to it, but on top of that you get just this little sweetness that you expect from the oats. Right in the middle of the palate I get just a tiny little bit of biscuit in there. They haven't used biscuit malt or anything in that, but that's something I just always find that I pick up a little bit when it comes to these these kind of hazy IPAs. You just get this little bit of biscuity sweetness in the middle of your palate, but you can really feel a slight difference in the malt base of this one with the smoothness. So in a way it is doing what it says on the tin, and I do see exactly what they mean there. But it really is nice. I like how that comes across, and it gives you a good contrast with the hops as well. Because like I said, this one's got a big kind of piney resinous kick to it. So in the back corners of the palate you get a little bit of earthiness, just a very small bit, but then as you come further forward you feel that big sort of spicy pine resin character just underpinning everything, and it mellows out as you have more and more of this beer. It's really well done. I mean, you wouldn't expect anything else from Magic Rock, of course. These guys do some pretty damn awesome beers. But it is cool how you can see, this is a style of course that has a kind of limited scope of flavour, but within that limited scope of flavour there's quite a diversity of flavour, if that statement at all makes sense. And because there's so many hops you can play with, there's so many different types of oats, you can add little bits of biscuit malt if you really wanted it to this style, but it's just amazing the diversity of hops and things that you can get, and the diversity of flavour you can get within a specific beer style. But that's nice. Definitely around the front kind of corners of the tongue you feel that pine resin character, and then as I said, it feels a little bit more spicy to me than the Chinook hop. The Chinook I think tends to give you this kind of darker, more dank character, but as you go round the front curve of the palate it actually mellows out quite quickly. You do get a little bit of that kind of floral character in there, but it really smooths out and gives you just that kind of lighter grassy element that you expect of these nice big high alpha acid hops. If you just go behind the front curve of the palate, that's where you're going to get some of these nice juicy fruit characters. I always say you get that little oily bubble where these nice kind of fruity notes come out. So you can feel a little bit of that kind of darker fruit just underpinning that. There is a little bit of grapefruit in there, which I suspect will be coming from the Citra. On top of that, you can, once it mellows out a little bit, you can pick out a wee bit of passion fruit in there. There's definitely a wee mango presence to this one as well. And later on, you've seen how long it is since I've taken a sip. You can get a little bit of that almost lychee flavour, but you can feel that sort of pineapple note coming out of this one, which is from the Denali hop. As I was saying, you don't pick that up so much in the aroma, but really you can feel that nice pineapple flavour in this one. I'm getting it right now. You saw how long since I took a sip, but that nice pineapple juicy note is coming out now. So the beer starts off with a good bit of bitterness from the piney resins, and then that lovely kind of pineapple note just comes out, and you can feel the complexity, the passion fruits, the mangoes, the little bit of grapefruit, the lychees and things like that come out of this one just as the flavour progresses. But once again, it's another pretty damn good beer from Magic Rock. I mean, these beers all have a very similar feel to them, but they can have pretty diverse flavour profiles, and that's what's really good, is that these guys can play around with the style so much and do it consistently well. I mean, the rating that this one has on Rate Beer, 97 I think it was, that's about right for this one. It maybe isn't perhaps my favourite one that I've had from these guys, and it's kind of hard to actually pick a favourite when it comes to Magic Rock as well, because they put out consistently good beer. They set the bar very high, but their beers are always around the bar, and that shows you that they are a damn good brewery. But to me, this is another really solid beer, and I like trying ones that have slightly different aspects to the flavour. So as a beer reviewer, as I said to you before, this is exactly what you want. So if you like pineapple flavours, you're going to enjoy this one. If you like a good kind of spicy floral aromaticity, but also a little bit of pine resin, this could be an interesting one for you to try, because it seems the Denali hop is able to provide that. But it's a really nice beer. It starts off with a good bit of bitterness, and then it just mellows out slightly, and that it gives you a good contrast as well, because like I was saying, the malt base just has a little bit more kind of creamy smoothness to it than some of the other ones I've come across too. So once again, a big thumbs up to Magic Rock on this one. They've done another very, very solid IPA with this. When it comes to the mouthfeel, I would say again, this guy's mid-bodied. Yeah, I would say this one is mid-bodied. The carbonation's very smooth. It's got a really quite creamy mouthfeel to this one. It does have a little bit of oiliness on the back end. The IBUs in this one, I think this one's a little bit heavier in the IBUs than some of the other ones I've had from Magic Rock. That might well just be the kind of piney resins that you get from the Denali, of course. It might just give you that impression, but to me it does feel a little bit more bitter than some of the other ones they've produced. There's a nice little bit of juicy fruity character in there as well, and the malt base, like I was saying, is really smooth. The kind of quirky note about this beer is the contrast that you get between that, but overall another very, very solid beer. So I certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink this one again, but how long they're going to produce it for, who knows. They're always producing some different stuff. So yeah, it's been really cool to return to Magic Rock Brewery once again. It's always cool to try new hops and new malts and things like that as well. So that's a good thing about this brewery, is they're always willing to experiment. So yeah, if you get the chance to try this beer, I highly recommend that you do. But pretty much any of these nice big tall boy cans that you get from Magic Rock are going to be pretty good, so try them when you get them, and they're always producing new things every couple of months. So yeah, this one was the Telepathy from Magic Rock Brewing. I don't know if any of my other fellow beer tubers have reviewed this particular beer, but they're very often reviewing the Magic Rock, so make sure you check out guys like Harry, Craig, Dean, Jayco and Rob and all of this. They review these Magic Rock beers a little bit more regularly than I do, but this is a cracker, and make sure you try it. So yeah, once again, thank you for watching. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Do let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below if you have tried it before. Let me know what your favourite IPAs in these tall boy cans have been from Magic Rock as well. There should be quite a diversity of opinion there, so it would be interesting to hear. But yeah, thank you once again for watching, and I will catch you guys very soon. And make sure you try some of these lovely Magic Rock beers. Slàinte just now.